Hey everybody, Corey here, coming at you with another knife review. Today we are taking a look at the Protech knives. Malibu, if you're new around here, consider subscribing. I try to put out new knife-related content on a regular basis. So, we're doing the selfie video today, and you all know what that means. If you don't know what that means, it means, I don't want to spoil this for you, it means that I find the knife so boring or so annoying or something that I've tried doing a tabletop review. I've tried doing the size comparisons. I've tried editing the video. I have no passion left in me for the Protech Knives Malibu. I have had this knife for almost 6 months, and I just couldn't review it because every other knife I have gotten after I got this knife was so much more interesting. And just let's talk about that for a second, okay? Because I got my little standard template that I usually do here for a reminder, but we'll just kind of blow through that, and I'll talk about why I feel the way that I feel. As a user, it's absolutely fine. It's fine, okay? And at $230, it's more for later, but you're paying a lot of money for fine. It's fine, right? Why do I say it's fine? The blade shape, blade geometry, it's fine. It's not an excessively, it's not an especially thin blade. It doesn't have an especially slicey grind or slicey geometry. The ergos, they are not egregious. But for me, this knife suffers from something that a few knives have suffered from in the past for me, where they make the handle, look at this, look at how tiny this is. This is like thinner than the width of my index finger. By the time you get to the bottom, the way my hands are wrapped around this knife, my pinky is actually flat against the rear of the handle. And what that actually does is it makes it so that I have to start thinking about hot spots. Let's focus on the knife now. I have to start thinking about hot spots on the back of the handle, because the funny thing is, they did a great job doing these like cutouts or this milling, whatever you want to call it, on both sides of the handle where your fingers generally run across, that they lie across, right? So that's comfy. But what they didn't take into account was the fact that the rear of the handle is so dinky that you just suffocate it. You absolutely suffocate it with your hand. And this 90-degree angle ends up pressing into, at least for me, and I don't have especially large hands, it presses into my ring finger and it presses into my pinky. It's just not comfortable to hold. It's not comfortable to hold. It's not comfortable to use unless I very consciously try to hold it in a hammer grip, more like this. But I really have to think about where I put my hands. It's fine, okay? It's not bad. It's just fine, okay? Let's talk about this knife as a fidgeter. You've got a flipper tab. You've got a button lock. Okay? That's all you got, right? So you can do the regular flip. You can do a light switch. You can do push button. You can do something that I just never... I feel like I'm the only person who does it, but you can put your thumb on the back of it and kind of whip it open. I love fidgeting with knives like that. And then I guess because it's a button lock, you could just engage the button and let it do the whole free fall thing where you swing it open and you let it fall shut. Okay. For me, it's a button lock, so it's inherently going to be very easy to just engage and disengage. And if all you want to do, if you're cool with just a flipper tab and you just want to sit here all day and flip and close and flip and close, that's great. You can do it. Overall, part of what I want out of a knife that I'm specifically going to be fidgeting with is at least 2 deployment options, not counting the button that disengages it, right? So, I don't know, give me a thumb stud, give me a fuller, something like that. Again, if you're looking for something to play with, I think there are better options out there. But if you're cool with just having a flipper or just using the button lock itself to play with it, I guess this is enough for you. For me, I've got better options with more options as well. As a collector, this is where my sourness is going to start to shine through in this review. These are pretty hard to get. They do make them relatively regularly, right? Because it's like a knife that's in production, but they sell out immediately. They sell out immediately, and I'll never understand it. I will absolutely positive. Actually, I do understand it. Let's talk about that, right? I'm 100% convinced. I've been doing this for a while now. I'm 100% convinced this knife would be nothing without Nick Shabazz. Nick Shabazz loves the Protech Malibu, thinks it's like the greatest thing since sliced bread. Ever since his video went out, these things, you can't get them. They go up on the secondary, people buy them immediately. They go up on Blade HQ, they're gone immediately. They're good. They're just not like world-ending, sky-falling, praise the Lord, best knife ever good. It's not there for me. There's not enough unique, and there's not enough exceedingly well done on this knife that like blows my mind to the point where the hype is worth it. Okay, so here's the thing. Typically in the collecting piece of my review, I'll talk about, is it hard to get? Is it very unique? Something like that. But in my opinion, these are artificially hard to get. Not because of like a production issue or anything, but because people are sucking them up like vacuums because the knife community is telling them to. Because this, along with like the PM2, it's been put on this like golden pedestal. And as soon as people can get their hands on them, they're like, I have to do it. I have to do it now because it's the greatest knife ever made, and I'll never be able to get it, and it's going to sell out. And then they're just permanently sold out. I'm telling you, man, this is not a matter of, it's I just took too long to review it or something. The day I got this knife, I flipped it open, I started handling it, and I was just like, it's fine. It's fine. It's not amazing. It's fine. It's not bad. It's fine. And I really want to beat that to death here. For me, as a collector, I just say it's overrated. If you're someone who's interested in getting knives that have become notoriously good as deemed by the knife community, or if you're someone who's interested in getting something that's not the easiest to get because they're not always in stock, well, then I guess there's your answer. You should go get one of these. But really, in terms of intrinsic value, I don't think this knife does anything unique whatsoever. It's a button lock. And aside from the fact that it's a button lock, it's about as plain and inconspicuous as it could possibly be. So it's not getting points for uniqueness. In terms of build quality, it's good. Is that why you collect knives, though? Because lots of knives are really good these days. And in terms of availability, again, I just think it's artificial. So that's what I have to say from the perspective of a collector. Next up, as a consumer, right? I'm switching out the nerds section for the consumer section. The normal edition models of these go for like $220. The special edition, which is what this is, it's a Blade Show edition because it's got like a pretty button lock abalone. They go for like $240, and then on the secondary they go for like $400 or something. And then they also randomly make like brass ones with Damascus blades, or they've got knurling, and then they start to get like super expensive. You can go look that up yourself. For me, it's an aluminum button lock. It's 20 CV. It's fine. Maybe for me to feel good about this, 160, maybe 180. But there's just nothing excessively unique or interesting. There's not exceptionally, precise or complicated milling or anything. I can't even say that they're made in the USA, because I did say that in my original review of the knife, and then I went and looked it up, and apparently they say like we manufacture kind of and assemble kind of also in Canada and kind of France. So I don't know, originally I was going to say I guess 220 is pretty good for a US knife, but they don't specifically say what is made in the USA and what's not, so I can't make that assumption. Man, Civivi's putting out some good button locks, and I know they're not necessarily in 20 CV, but for me, there's not enough here. The unique, the justification, it's not the most comfortable knife, it's not the most unique knife, it's not my favorite knife to fidget with. It could have been titanium instead of aluminum. I get maybe there's a choice there, right? They wanted to keep it lighter, so they made it aluminum, or maybe they just wanted to keep the cost down and make more money. I don't know, right? I'm not going to go there, but for me, aluminum and 20 CV with nothing really specifically crazy about the design. I don't see 220. I don't see 240. Like I said, 160, would make me feel good. 180 is where I start to say, yeah, I don't know about that. Everything beyond that, not for me, right? Will I keep it? Absolutely, positively not. No, zero. Especially since this one is a special edition from Blade Show, and honestly, I could probably sell it for way too much money. It's gonna go. It's gonna go immediately. The only reason I have it is because I knew I still needed to review it. There's just not enough special. There's not enough special about this knife. You know, this one in particular. Ooh, it's from Blade Show. I don't care. I want it gone. Um, I know I'm making it sound worse than it is, but really at this point in my collecting career, I'm into unique stuff. I'm into really different stuff. And here's an example. This is the Reich 1902S, and this isn't even scripted. I didn't even intend to show this knife for this video, but look, we're dealing with titanium. We're dealing with a gold carbon fiber weave inlay. We're dealing with an awesome action, and oh my god, it's so smooth and it's so ergonomic. You got to do something different, right? I mean, look at this. Black, flat flipper. All right? You've got an interesting design. You've got a fuller with it, so you can fuller flick it. You've got, like, this machined backspacer. You've got the ceramic ball on the clip. Oh, and by the way, this is 160. Oh, and by the way, it's titanium and gold carbon fiber and M390. Okay, great. It's made in China, but, you know, this one... No. I will not keep it. I don't hate it. I don't wish them poor luck or something as a company. There's so little here. As someone who has like 30 knives, there's nothing special to me about the Protech Malibu. It's very minimalist if you're into that. It does kind of remind me of my Chris Reeve in the sense that they're both very plain, and that's fine if you're into that, but I don't get it. I don't get it at 220. I don't get it at 240. I don't get the hype overall. Maybe it's just not for me, but I have to be honest with you guys. That's the whole point of this. Finally, here's a weird little thing. Is this girlfriend approved? And this is kind of inspired. I let my girlfriend handle my Chavez, which is a very chonky, heavy... I don't want to assign genders to anything, but it's kind of manly just based on the aesthetics. It's got a giant, like, Punisher skull for the clip. She loved it. And ever since then, every knife I get, I give it to her. And I'm like... Do you like this? Why or why not? For this one, she said it's easy to deploy. The button is easy to disengage. It's also easy to do like the reverse flip. And she said even though it's small, the pocket clip is placed in such a position where she feels like she can get her hands on it so that it's really easy to open and really easy to close. So if your girlfriend wants a Protech Malibu, maybe you can get it for her, or your boyfriend. I don't look. All right, we won't go there. Anyhow, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm sorry for the low effort on this one. I'm not taking pictures of this thing. I'm not doing B-roll. I'm not putting music behind my voice. Anyone want to buy an overpriced knife? Send me a message. Anyhow, I love you guys, and I will see you all next time.